Good afternoon, everybody. I'm pausing and hesitating to make sure. I believe, yes, we are in fact live. Got everything working today. That's so exciting. Welcome back to the Adventures of Grifflet here. This is Mythgard in Middle-earth with Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor. Good to see you guys again. And I rejoin my friend Grifflet. Hi, Grifflet. How are you doing? I see. Oh, you're standing next to the warm fire, the quite large warm fire. That makes sense. It must be cold up there. And I see you have a fuzzy cloak, right? That's just lovely. You have a furry cloak that Fair Venin gave you to keep you warm. I notice you're still wearing short sleeves because you're kind of manly that way, Grifflet. That makes a lot of sense. But where are you? What are you? Oh, you're looking out over the lake and the mountains. It is quite beautiful up here in Forachel, isn't it? I just love the scenery up here. What time of day is it, Grifflet? How close are we to night? Oh, it's morning, of course. See, when I want it to be daytime during the stream, it's night, and when I want it to be nighttime so we can see the northern lights, it's morning. Well, that's all right. Okay, Dathi, we're going to go up and find Lassie up in Suri Kaila, but it's going to take a while. So, of course, as all of you LOTRO players know who have been to Forachel, and doubtless most of you have been here more than I, you know that it takes a long time to get anywhere in Forachel. So that means, everybody, you need to dig deep today for the lore questions, right? Because we're going to have a lot of lore questions that we're going to be able to discuss. Oh, here comes the sled. Oh, yeah. Look at him pushing himself along in his sled. There you go. Ah, the Losoth are so cool. Where's the skating guy? Is there a skating guy? Oh, well. We'll look for the skating guy somewhere else. And I'd like why it is that we can't get skates. I just can't understand. Like, there are just two obvious missed opportunities here, Turbine, right? I mean, would it be so hard to give us skates? And would a mammoth ride be too much to ask? I mean, these are small matters, and yet of great moment from a certain point of view. So anyway, all right, we're going to see, look, as if on cue. See, look at that. He wouldn't have to go any faster than that. I'd be fine with a slow ride on a mammoth, right? That'd be me up at the top, right, with the little brazier and my s'mores, right? And it would be so worth it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, all right, so we are headed, so here we are down in Kapakokta, and we're going to go through Jakuru, all the way up through the gorge here, and then around all the way up to Suri Kaila, introducing ourselves to every stable master we find along the way. Hi, moose. Place is full of moose. This is not going the right way. We need to go down here, as I recall. Who's here? Oh, right. This is this guy's camp. Hamastos Pesa. Oh, yeah, he's very afraid. You seem very scared. You're scared of wolves, aren't you? Well, unfortunately, I have a long journey to go on, so I can't help you with your wolf problem, but there will doubtless be someone along very soon who will help you with your wolf problem, man. Okay, sorry. So remember what we are up here for is a somewhat improbable quest to find the missing half of Narquils. So Lyrdon confessed to having cut the ring in half or something. He bisected it. Ooh, a Frostgrim. Okay, he bisected it in order to destroy it. Again, presumably in order to break its power over his daughter, because of course this was his goal, right? This is the sort of the frame that we're getting for that whole story, which I find really cool, right? Lyrdon, it's not about the like must defeat the emissaries of Sauron and destroy their weapons kind of thing. That's sort of a perk, right? What he's trying to do is recover his daughter, and part of this, of course, you can see his own sort of self-deception, right? He believed that his daughter had been enslaved, like against her will, by the ring. So she was ensnared and enslaved. So what he was doing was liberating her, and that's why he puts her into captivity. That's why he locks her up, right? Because it's not his daughter that he's locking up. It's the the will of the enemy that has enslaved his daughter and turned her into a Marthiel, right? Like against her will. So he's got to imprison her until she can be set free from that enslavement. So, okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, a giant hoary aurochs. Boy, that is a particularly hoary aurochs, I have to say. Hror. It's absolutely, it's very hoar. Okay, so Lyrdan's story begins to become clearer, and why he bisected the ring, and then gave the halves of the ring away, and one of them was up here and was in the possession. Which way am I going here? I think I'm going this way. That's a moose-infested dead end. So he says, so one of the elves into whose keeping he gave it was on the boat that was sent up to rescue Arvedue, which is a really cool connection. So more went down with that particular ship than just the last king of Arnor and the two Palantiri, right? So we're coming up here to find any traces if that elf did not in fact go down with the ship, and if there's any remnant of any memory of what could possibly have happened to half a ring in the frozen bay more than 1,000 years ago. So that seems like a fruitful and productive quest that we are on, and we've got to cross half of the frozen wastes in order to get there. So that's cool. So that's a little reminder of where Grifflet is and what we're doing. Meanwhile, I have plenty of time to do some lore talk while we're traveling here. Quick question from I've got several Josh Ramsey questions saved up for just such an occasion. But please do dig deep, people. Right? We need to get some lore issues to discuss here while we're doing much travel. So okay, a ruin. Look at that. What do we have here? Hang on, Grifflet needs a better view. Can we jump up here? Can we? Can I get on that ledge? I want to get on that. Almost made it. Oh well. Oh well. A ruin in the middle of this. It's clearly a dwarf ruin, right? You can tell by this scroll work up here along the top, not to mention the particular sort of angle of the roof and the angularity of those pillars. This is obviously dwarf architecture from what we've seen. Yeah. So the dwarves were up here. And it's a random wall fragment. Now this rift that we're in here, right? Clearly this is walls of ice. So are we meant to imagine that this gorge, this sort of chasm that we're going through, at least part of it, was a construction, a dwarvish construction? Why wouldn't dwarves live here? That seems fine. They wouldn't have been Durin's folk, right? But there were 7 houses of the dwarves, so one of them could have made it up here to the frozen north. But then, like the ice, the glaciers have moved around it, and so we can only see that one bit peeking out. Really interesting. I never really noticed that before. Now I'm going up on ledges because I can, and I want to scout around. Any more ruins? Any more evidence? I wonder what dwarves were up here, and if there's any other remnants of the dwarves. I also wonder who are the unfriendly people who are putting skulls on poles around here. The Gauradine. Dismount. Let's sneak past the Gauradine. The Gauradine are really interesting Maven was just asking about them again before the show started. We talked about the Gauradine a little bit. They're a really interesting creation, right? Because on the one hand, it's not the name isn't invented. I shouldn't say this because it's kind of like something in the Silmarillion and in Unfinished Tales, really in Unfinished Tales, and in the Children of Húrin, which is not technically in the license, but that's okay because they're not using it the same way. Let me just say, in one of Tolkien's works to be not named, there's a group of outlaws, which are called the Gauradine. They're called they're referred to as the wolves, the wolfmen, and that's just like a metaphor. They're being compared to wolves, because hey, wait, I'm outside, right? I'm outside here, and oh, I see. So I don't get night, so I don't get the northern lights. Instead, I get a blizzard in the middle of the day. It's like the worst possible combination. Anyway, so there were this group of outlaws who were metaphorically compared to a pack of wolves, and so they were called the Wolfmen, the Gauradine. But they don't, they're not like a tribe that worships wolves or something. They just again are metaphorically compared to wolves. And in doing that, Tolkien was actually following Anglo-Saxon tradition, as the noun for wolf is also used of like a criminal or an outlaw. Somebody who has committed a crime and run away from the village, run away from the civilization, and gone to live on his own in the wilderness is called I'll make sure. Is this the road up to Pendulog here? Yes, it is. Okay, good. There's a stable master up here I want to introduce myself to. Hi, Pinty Peldot. Yeah. You're the guy I want to see. Thank you. Now I can get a slow horse back to Capocauta. That's something. And at least is easier to have lore discussions when I'm on a slow horse. Okay. Anyway, so as I said, Tolkien was following in the Anglo-Saxon tradition when he was yeah, now we just go this way, right? Yeah, okay. Now we're on the road. And then it's going to split off to the left. We got saber-toothed tigers. Oh, man. Where does it split off to the... Hey, how did I get on this? Where's the... Honestly. See, it's a blizzard. I got zero visibility. And I'm supposed to find the road. Where's the stupid road? Where's the road? Well, that's not a road. Okay, that's that thing. So the road's this way. Yeah? I'll just go overland, because, like, what's the worst that could happen? I could get totally distracted from talking about anything. Middle of a stupid blizzard. There's the road! Ah, see, like, don't leave the path. I had myself a little Mirkwood moment there, but I'm good. Okay. Alright. Navigating through in the middle of a blizzard, which really does reduce the scenery. Hey, look, it's a Yeti. Alright, we got some abominable snowmen. We've got some saber-toothed tigers. Some particularly aurochs. And moose. Perfect. Okay. Retracing mental steps now that I'm unlost. I was talking about wolves, Gauradine, outlaws. Okay, following an Anglo-Saxon tradition. So that's what Tolkien was doing when he did that. But it was so clearly the turbine folks have sort of latched on to the term, but have transformed it in a totally different way, right? So now they are the men of the wolves in a totally different sense than the wolf men. They're not merely metaphorically like unto wolves in that they form, a band that lives in the wilderness and preys upon others, which was the Anglo-Saxon sense of it, but rather they revere the wolves like as their totem animals. Okay. So I think that's kind of cool. Does it fit with Tolkien? I mean, it's not directly derived from Tolkien. I can easily imagine it. I mean, Tolkien gives us very little details about we know that there are, sort of tribes and groups of humans scattered around Middle Earth, who had never really come into contact with the elves and learned about the Valar or anything like that. The Númenóreans are weird in that way. So no real knowledge of the true West. So the idea that they will have developed instead these kinds of sort of animistic totemistic religions and cultural practices seems totally plausible. I don't see any reason against it. Hey, I think this is one of those. If it weren't snowing on your right, you could see. Isn't this where the Númenóreans are? Yeah, or the Angmar Rim are, is what I mean. A sylvan squirrel? Seriously? A sylvan squirrel, not a silver squirrel. A sylvan squirrel, like a squirrel of the forests. That squirrel is lost. Somebody really needs to get, and here I am following him, right? So what does that say about me? But anyway, he is heading in quite the wrong direction if he's trying to get back to the forests. It would be cool if that was a quest, actually, right? Escort the sylvan squirrel back to the forest. From Latin. Anyway, okay. So the Gaurodine are cool. I like the Gaurodine. Especially again because it's almost like a kind of pun that Turbine has made from a Tolkien concept, though as I said, a Tolkien concept that is slightly outside the mainstream, so that's okay. All right, other lore questions. So Josh, one of Josh Ramsey's questions, and I think I have a feeling like I brought this up, but I forgot to answer it because I got distracted by architecture or tapestries or something last time. You may remember there are several mysterious passages in the Fellowship of the Ring. I feel like there's actually more mysterious passages in the Fellowship of the Ring than there are in the Two Towers or the Return of the King. Remember, in The Ring Goes South, so the company is traveling south, and they've not gotten to Carothros yet. And they are worried that they're being watched. And there's that moment where there's something up in the sky, right? And they're debating, like, say, oh, it's just like a wisp of cloud or something, right? And they feel this, like, sort of chill come over them. And Aragorn says it was moving fast then and not with the wind, right? So it's pretty clear that that's something other than a wisp of cloud, right? So the question is, what was that? One way to read that, of course, is it sort of depends on what you kind of pay attention to or what you prioritize. If you prioritize that sort of sense of chill that came over their hearts when it passed over them, the way I would put the question is, was that garden variety dread, or was that special supernatural, like Nazgul flavored dread, that kind of thing, right? Because of course we know looking back that the winged Nazgul exist, right? And that they but that would seem to be, if we're supposed to understand that was a winged Nazgul, then that seems a little hard to understand, right? Because we are told later on that the winged Nazgul don't cross the river yet, right? So if that's the case, what's it doing there? Now, we are told that, you may remember we learned that fact about the Nazgul not crossing the river from Grishnach, and he may or may not know what he's talking about, right? His information may be authoritative and it might not. So, hey, we're in Surikaila. How about that? So anyway, but still, it seems to me unlikely that there's a winged Nazgul all the way over there. They'd be in a heck of a lot bigger trouble if it was. So I really don't believe that it was a winged Nazgul that they sensed flying over them. In which case, what else could it be? Well, there are two other possibilities. One possibility is that it was a this is such a disappointing first view of Suri Kaila. I say view, I can't see anything. Maybe this will blow over later on and we can look around ourselves a little bit more. But anyway, so the other possibility is that it's a flock of Crabine, right? We know that the Crabine are spying out the land, and it's possible that it's a flock of bird spies. If that were the case, that would mean that the dread that comes over them is not supernatural dread, but rather garden variety dread. That is, they're afraid they're going to be spotted and spied upon, and so they and then there's like this thing is passing over them and they're worried about it, right? So it's not supernatural dread, it's garden variety dread of discovery, possibly, right? That seems possible. There's a third possibility, which is that thing in the sky was something else entirely and we don't know and never discover what it was. That also seems quite likely, because there's lots of things like that in the Fellowship of the Ring that we learn about, encounter or hear about or hear a rumor about and then never meet, right? Like the nameless things down under Moria. I was just speaking at a Tolkien camp for middle schoolers last week. It was the week before last in West Virginia. It was awesome. And one of the questions they asked me was, they're like, what are the nameless things down under Moria that Gandalf meets? And I was like, I have no idea. They're nameless, right? There are a lot of things like that in Tolkien. Well, of course, we'll get to the nameless things when we get to Moria. Of course, I find it kind of interesting what they do there, what Turbine has done there. But anyway, so it's possible that it's just something else, and maybe doesn't even have anything to do with Sauron, right? Because there are many powers in the world, right? And not all of them work for Sauron. Some are older than he, and it may well be that. Anyway, hey there, Lassie. Okay, good to meet you. Have you seen half a ring anywhere in the last 1,000 years?
The breath of the Witch King blows hard in this place.
Oh, is that what's going on? Is this so like today is like the halitosis of the Witch King, right? The bad breath of this blizzard? Man, I should have known. Establishment was behind it. You don't see many of my kind, and you welcome even fewer of the hobbits. I know few hobbits, and I like even fewer of them. Okay. We remember this Vanavaki you speak of, this Lyrden. Does that mean elf? Okay. He came to the Lumivaki seeking a lost ring. Yeah. It was a foolish thing looking for a bauble in these lands. I know, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel a little self-conscious about it myself, Lassie, but... yeah, the Vanavaki did not have the favor of Irjana and barely escaped with his life from the dangers we face here. Without the help of the Lumivaki, you would have no hope of finding your ring, and you will not have the help of the Lumivaki without the favor of Irjana. Okay. If you wish to gain our chieftain's favor, you must perform 3 tasks for the Lumivaki. Only then may you speak with Irjana. If you wish to learn of these tasks, speak with you again. I wish to learn of these tasks. Woo! 3 different quests, huh?
There are fell voices on the wind.
There are fell voices on the wind. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting that you would say that. Okay, Sini may have a task for you to perform. Find her on the outskirts of Surika. All right, I gotta find Sini and do a job for her. And Emeli.
Stretches out to us from the past.
Okay. Across from the Steam Lodge. Is that like the sauna? Okay. If you wish to win the favor of the Irjana, you should speak with probably Yalmare. It's probably not a J, is it? Yalmari at Suri Kaila, near to the steam lodge. Okay, he's near the steam lodge too. Okay, fine. All right, no problem. I will seek out Sini, Emeli, and Yalmari, and we will. I'll be super helpful. I'm super good at being helpful. Okay. No. Besides, you probably just want to get me to go to Eregion, don't you? We will go to Eregion in due time. All right, I'm gonna wander around until I. Yeah, that's not very helpful. Okay, we're gonna wander around until I find the people I'm supposed to help. Because I don't know where the steam lodge is, and I can't see a darn thing with the whole Breath of the Witch King blowing around here. Hey, Captain Trainer, Guardian Trainer. Target dummies are the same all around Middle-earth. I don't get this. What is this? Post with moose antlers, very large ones. Is this a... Is there... Oh, back up. Carving? No? Some kind of pattern? So that's leather? Worked leather of some kind, presumably? Alright. Sana, that's like Sini, but not quite the same. Okay. No problem. Well, you're not around here. Let's keep looking. Where's that? Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Let's cross back over here. Nobody's over here. These quests are making me want to visit the steam lodge. Okay, so what is my opinion about the shadow that passed over them in near Carothras? I think it was definitely not a Nazgul. I disbelieve that pretty firmly. You guys are other people who have jobs that you want done, but you're not. Ah, there's Yalmari. Is this a steam lodge? Okay, so how do we... Yalmari, hang on a second. I want to look at your structures here. So these are domed structures, domed because they're presumably made out of the same like whale ribs that those arches were made out of, or tusks, right? With leather stretched over them. Nicely worked leather, though. It's really very attractive. And this has... Oh, it's just fur. Thought that might be detail work. All right, Yalmari. That's a really nice house, and I love the moose antlers at the top. Like that's super cool, right? All the best huts have moose antlers on the top.
You are a stranger to the Lumiveki.
Okay. Oh, I've been sent to you in wisdom. Oh, good. And only with wisdom will you earn the favor of the Lumivaki. Okay. Iryana will not speak with you until you have earned the favor of wisdom, which I will confer upon you after you've completed my task. Okay. So you're assessing my wisdom here? Look next to me. There you will find things of importance to the Lumivaki, things that help us to survive in these cold lands. Put these things in their proper order, then return to me. How will you know what the proper order is? Through wisdom. Ah, okay. All right, I'm with you. Warmth is of great importance, so fire is a boon. Yeah, is a boon companion. Even more important is water, for without water there is no life. Once you have fire and water at your disposal, you have done much, but do not rest yet. You must then have stout weapons to protect yourself, but first obtain food enough to lend yourself the strength to wield them. Before you obtain any of these necessaries, a wanderer in these lands must have clothing warm enough to protect him against the cold when fire cannot be made and water cannot be found. Oh, man. Quite the dilemma, huh? Okay, Yalmari. So we have fire, food, weapons, clothing, and water. Which is first? Now, I assume you don't mean first in importance, right? But you mean first in priority? Not weapons. I'd say... This is a tough one, Yalmari. What happens if I get it wrong, I wonder? Let's see. I'm going to go with... clearly, you know, you got to have warmth first and then food and water and then weapons, right? So between fire and clothing... I really don't remember the answer to this riddle. I'd say clothing. Because you need something to wear while you build the fire, right? So I'm going to take the clothing. And then I'm going to build a fire. Oh, I failed. Clothing was right, but fire was wrong. Oh, man.
We must speak at Telaviras.
Oh, that's it? It's just done, huh? Poor Grifflet didn't, just... it's just your other quest?
I do not think we should waste the day.
So I just have to go back and ask him to send me to you again? Can I never get in? Is it now impossible entirely to pass the epic quest line? How does this work? I'm trying to learn wisdom over here, but he's asking hard questions.
There are terrible things in the waste, Eteleviras.
Okay, yeah, I'll try again. I'll try again. All right. Fine. Okay, so I got the first one right, but I was wrong about the fire. Why wouldn't I want fire next? I mean, I'd freeze to death before I died of thirst.
From whence came you in this cold winter?
All right, okay, I'll try again, Yalmari. No problem, okay. So, clothing. Yeah. Clearly, clothing. All right. That's the first thing. Fire is apparently not the next thing, so I'm going to go with water then. Because I would die of thirst long before I would starve to death, so... Water. Yes! Okay. Now... I'd be tempted to go fire again. But let's say... Oh, wait. Are you going to do the whole, like, you need weapons to get food thing? Alright, let's try that. Let's see if that works. Darn it! The wisdom of Grifflet is lacking here. Look, he almost Rivendelled the bridge in Lossoth. There's a serious in Foracal. There's a serious penalty here if you fall into the water here, Grifflet. This isn't like Rivendell where you just swim your way back down to the waterfall. Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Yalmari and hopefully he won't soon tire of me talking to him. All right. Okay. So first clothing, and then water, and then not weapons. Got a 50% chance now, Yalmari.
Telaviras.
In their proper order. Okay. All right. So I'm still trying to figure this out. I need clothing first. That we've ascertained. And then I need a drink. I think it must be fire that I need next. Yeah, okay. Now, 50% chance. Is it food or weapons? I think after the fire we get the weapons and food comes last. Now, let's go with food. Yes! Weapons last of all. That's right. Ah, the wisdom of the Lossoth.
From whence came you in this cold
Yes,
winter?
I learned a lot. Okay, thank you, Yalmari. So what did I learn? is it a priority of what's the most important things? Right, your clothing first, so it's a good thing Fairvenin gave me this cloak, and then water, then fire, then food, then weaponry. So the thing I was not sure about Yalmari is whether or not fire was being connected with, or rather, weapons were being connected with hunting, or just with, with fighting, like defending yourself. Because of course there could be two opinions on that. Is the steam lodge down here? Where am I going? They're over this way, are they? Okay. Oh, here they are. There's Amelie. Okay. Hey, Amelie. Hey, look, it's a ranger! Lothrandir, you must be a Dunedain. I can tell, 'cause you're standing next to a campfire. You look a little alert, unusually alert for a ranger, but here you are, wearing your nice cold weather ranger gear. Yeah, you've rolled your sleeves up too, right? Yeah, you're cocky just like Grifflet that way. Okay. I know, the favor of the Lumivaki is not a trifling matter, no. If I wish to gain favor with Iriana, I must perform a feat of strength. Okay. For a long time, our hunters have sought the snow worm Paksukarva. Iriana wished to make of its tusk a great horn, but Paksukarva has eluded our hunters at every turn. Go forth and find Paksukarva and bring me its tusk. Okay, it's a worm? All right. The snow worm may be last seen by a group of other worms close to the bay. All right. Kill a worm. I can do this. Okay, so there's a snow worm. Ooh. Okay. Oh, there's Cindy. Better ask her what she's doing in case I can go in the same place. Hey there. Wow. I love your hat. Are those ears or horns? They're horns. So you've like attached antlers to your hood. That is cool. Can I get an antlered hood? That's really neat.
The cold is too great this season.
Okay. Alright, the Lumivaki prize many qualities, but one of the most important is endurance. I made it all the way here. Often our hunters must survive the cold wilderness with naught but a dull knife and the garb upon their backs, and they are grateful for it. If you can search out Urmas, one of my finest trackers, you will gain great favor in the eyes of the people. Go into the wilderness and seek Urmas. Oh, that's vague. Last seen heading south. Okay. Alright. Just strike out into the wilderness and look for the guy. Okay. I'm gonna go. So this road across the ice does not strike me as exceptionally solid. I don't understand why we go on this wide detour across the ice before we get to... Oh boy, I've got a long ways to go, huh? Alright. More lore questions. Okay, there's a bear. I suppose this ice will hold the weight of that bear. It'll probably hold my weight and the weight of my horse, or I can make my horse vanish. Okay. We don't want to fight many polar bears. We just want to find Paksukarva, the great worm. Ah, there are some worms. Hi, I'm looking for a boss worm. Have you... Woo, Frost Grims. Wow, whole big team of them. Let's see. You're not it. You're not it. He's probably got stripes or something. Of some kind of distinctive boss marking. I'm not sure exactly what that will be, but... Yeah, excuse me. So frostworms, that's a Tolkien phrase. There he is. Oh, great. He does have stripes. Look at that. I was right. I'm going to ambush you up in the pass where I can get you on your own. A little further away. Okay. Oh, he breathed frost on me. So the worms in LOTRO are a little bit odd because, of course, but I mean, I can't really blame them. It's like in, it's like the same decision about goblins and orcs, right? LOTRO wants more kinds of creatures to fight, to have more variety of creatures that you're fighting, right? So, so they make orcs and goblins distinctively different species, even though the two words are really synonymous in Tolkien's usage. It's the same with worms, drakes, and dragons. Those are all the same thing, really. They're just synonyms. Those three words, drake, worm, and dragon, are all synonyms. So when you hear about like a cold worm, for instance, it means it's not a different species. It's not a different kind of creature. So, it's a little bit odd to begin with, but that's okay. Let's see. Where are we now? I gotta go up. I'm going around the mountain all the way down. Oh, is he that hermit who lives up on the hill? I gotta see if I can find him. Oh, a polar bear cub. Oh, that looks harmless. I'm sure if I go up to him, that would be... So, is this a mammoth tusk or a whale rib? That's my question. Kind of looks like a rib, doesn't it? Rather than it's not smooth like a tusk. And the tusks are more curly. I'm going with whale rib here, which means it's probably what their huts are made out of too. Okay. So I got to find Urmas, and then head back and turn these in, and then I'll get to see Iryana, the chieftain of the Losoth, and ask him if he's seen a ring any time in the last 1,000 years. Okay. All right. Hey, look, I see one live in the chat room. Lore question from Kazakh. All the Middle-earth maps I've seen refer to this icy region as Forodwaith. Is there a translation to Forakhel, or is Forakhel possibly taken from a text? Good question. Forodwaith just means the northern wastes, like the Northland, basically. Forod is the name for north. So Forodwaith is a more kind of blanket term to mean like the northern parts. It doesn't refer to like a particular land or, nation. Not that the Losoth up here are exactly a nation precisely, but anyway, that's sort of so when Forodwaith occurs on the map, they're not labeling a particular land. It's just like, and this is the region that's up in the north. Forakhel is like this area that we're in now, and that name is used. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that word is used in the appendix of this region. Of course, the only story that we get from up here is the story of Arvedui and his wrecked ship, which is why that is, of course, perfectly appropriate as the quest that has brought us up here. Okay, hang on, where am I? Oh, no, we're still a long ways away from our hermit friend. What's up there? Ice Walker, Captain? What's an Ice Walker? Are you an Angmarim? But you're an Ice Walker? Have I ever even been up here? An Angmarim invader and an Ice Walker. Huh. All right. Well, I don't really want to go to Angmar or find any Angmarim. I mean, I was just there. I was just in Karn Doom. I've got a key to Karn Doom. You know, the key which once belonged to Calder Cobb himself, or molded after Calder Cobb's key. So that's good. Anyway, okay. The Sylvan Squirrel. I must be close. That poor lost squirrel still hanging out in this intersection. The squirrel is just sitting there like, which of these roads leads back to the forest again? I'm so confused. Poor squirrel. Okay, Lost South Forward by maps. Yes, okay. I believe that Forkhill is used in Appendix A. I'm pretty sure that that's true. So it's just sort of a more specific name instead of a vague. It's almost, I mean, it's Forwardwythe is almost like a map direction practically. It's like, you know, Harad, meaning the south. I mean, you realize that Haradrim is essentially a translation of the word Southron, right? The Southrons. When they talk about the Southrons, the Haradrim, that it means exactly the same. Harad means south, so it means exactly the same thing. So it's not like if you were to go there, they would be all like, "Hi, welcome to, you know, we are the South people." Like they wouldn't call themselves the South people, and their names would have other terms. Just same with Rhun, R-H-U-N. So, you know, the lands of Rhun and Harad, that just means the lands to the east and south. It's a way of referring vaguely to those things. Hey, oh, I almost missed him. Oh, there he is! Look at that! Darn if he's not standing right there! Hey, did you know there's an abominable snowman behind you? Yeah, I don't want to alarm you. Oh, no, you're looking at him. Okay. Hey, what are we looking at? Can you see anything? I just see fog, man. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. I'm mostly sorry. I'm distracted by the abominable snowman in the front, in the foreground here. Hey, Ermas.
What brings you to this place?
I may return to. That's it. You're not even gonna say hi. You're just like go home. Okay. So not that it wasn't fun or anything, Ermas. That was great. Thanks for your help. So just the endurance of getting here, huh? Okay. All right. Fairvenin says wants Ermas to tell Grifflet to log back in and come back. Okay. Because the fog really is a shame, isn't it? All right. Maybe Grifflet. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll come out and come back in again. Okay, Grifflet. You can come in. 3, 2, 1. We'll see if we can get some better weather for poor Grifflet. There he is in his furry cloak. How adorable does he look in his little fuzzy cloak? Right? That's really cute. Okay. All right. If it works, I might have to go back to Ermos and see what he was looking at. Hey! Oh, my goodness! Would you look at that? There's trees over there. Trees such as like a... Hey, no thanks, summer festival. Not really topical today, I'm afraid. Let's, yeah, hang on. Let's go back to Ermos. Where is he? Hey, Ermos. What were you looking at? I can see now. Yeah, there you are. Hey, Ermos. Yeah, blizzard went. Sure did. So, oh, yeah, look at that. Majestic fjord. Say, I never even knew it was a fjord you were looking at, Ermos. I get it now. Look, even the piko here. Uh-oh, polar bear cub. Oh, good. Non-aggressive polar bear cub. All right. Thanks, Ermos. Now we're going to get to see that... Oh, he came and attacked me anyway, huh? Fine. All right. Okay. All right, off we go back again. Exit north, pursued by a bear. Okay, more questions. Yes, Jesse, he is in fact, Urmas is in fact pining for the fjords. That's precisely the joke that I was thinking of. Okay. All right, let's see. Sorry, looking through questions here. Tracy's question about from the Lost Road class. Let's talk about that. It's a little bit of a crossover, but let me contextualize this first. So, in Mythgard Academy, as you probably know, is a series of free open online classes I've been doing, wherein we just basically do a close study of books that are chosen. Those everybody who makes a donation to Signum gets to be in the electorate for the Mythgard Academy. So you get to nominate and vote on which book we go through and do a full class on. I'll do any book within reason that gets elected. So we've been doing a bunch of things, but of course many Tolkien books, and in particular we have managed to get ourselves into a look at this. You can actually see the turnoff in the place. I figured this is where there's the squirrel. There's the squirrel. Okay, right. I see the dilemma now. The squirrel's like, look, the forests are over there, but the Angmarim are in the way. Yeah, I get it now. And there's a fox too. See, this is a dwarf thing also. Oh, look, somebody is conveniently killing all the Angmarim up here. That's very thoughtful. Sorry, I won't interrupt you. You're doing a great job. Keep it up there with a rune keeper. Yeah, it fell off the stairs. That happens to me too. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, hi. I'll wave. Good job. Keep up the good work. You enabled me to come in and look at the architecture without having to fight my way through. See, this is dwarvish too. So this whole, so we have this historical dwarfish settlement here. He's going to chase me. Too late, he already is chasing me. Okay, so, and notice the big old dwarf statue back over here. Would you stop it, Invader? I don't want to fight you. Can we have architecture, not war? Yeah. So this was a boundary of some sort, or at least I'm going to back right over a cliff. Won't that be awesome? Anyway, okay. Right. So that's all right. I think he went away. Oh, he's probably afraid of the squirrel, right? He's like, there's a forest squirrel over here. Yeah. I mean, look at that dwarf statue, right? That's a class. That's classic. Classic dwarf sculpture right there. Oh, yeah. And he's carrying a mace, not a hammer? No, it's a hammer. Same Invader. That's okay. I'm leaving now. Okay, right. So this enables us to sort of piece together the history of this region a little bit more. So before or around when these men were settled here, there were dwarves. That would explain why we still have the dwarf settlement over here in Zigilgund, of course. This whole area was once settled by dwarves. Got it. Okay. I love ruins. Anyway, okay. So Mythgard Academy. So Mythgard Academy, we've been doing the History of Middle-earth series. The Book of Lost Tales, Volume 1 got elected, and ever since then we've been marching our way through the History of Middle-earth series. So we've done both of the 2 volumes of the Books of Lost Tales, The Lays of Beleriand, The Shaping of Middle-earth, and now we're doing The Lost Road. And The Lost Road is super cool because in The Lost Road is when we get introduced to the story of Numenor. So we've just been talking in the last few weeks about how the the story of the fall of Numenor was basically brought in as like a sequel. He had written the story, like the Silmarillion story, the story which we will later think of as the story of the First Age, up through the the story of Beleriand and through the War of Wrath. But it had been done. I mean, it was there was closure to that in the original versions of the story. Then he decides to add afterwards the story of Numenor and its fall. So he redoes the ending in order to accommodate the story of the fall of Numenor. So we've been talking about the fall of Numenor, and we just got to the end on this past Wednesday, just 2 days ago. We just did the later annals of Valinor and Beleriand, seeing how Tolkien is actually working through and finalizing the Silmarillion. Like, this is Tolkien preparing the Silmarillion for publication back in the late 30s, right? The story of the Silmarillion still has a ways to go. It's not going to get published then, but it's really, really interesting to see what it was that Tolkien was trying to publish when he set out to publish the Silmarillion in the 30s. And he was sending it to the publisher who loved The Hobbit, was asking for a sequel to The Hobbit, and he's like, oh, you'll love this as well. And he sends them the epic poem of Beren and Luthien, and they're like, that's kind of different. Anyway, okay. This is so much nicer without the blizzard. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but anyway, that was all context to explain, because Tracy's question stems from our discussion in The Lost Road. Okay, it says, when Numenor goes on the offensive. Yeah, okay, so in The Lost Road, in the story of Numenor, so when the Numenorians, in these earliest versions of the story, when the Numenorians attack Valinor, when the Mad King of Numenor goes and begins his assault upon the gods, he the pretty clear implication in the text is that they have actually technologically developed. The Numenorians, the fleet of the Numenorians. I totally just blew past poor Steenie over here with her adorable little antlered hood. The Numenorians have developed cannon and possibly even steamships. There are many indications that they have advanced technology
The waters have frozen early.
with which they're attacking Valinor. So they're like cannonading Valinor, basically, which is not a good idea. All right, it takes much endurance. Yeah, it totally was. I was very persevering. Oh, yeah, I know it won't be enough alone, but I did. Woo! It will be enough alone to get me to level 50, however. That's a pretty big threshold. Yeah. Hey, do I get another, do I get it? No. Oh, well. I don't get a trait point. That's fine. Who needs it? Ooh, I got a skill? What's this? Purge corruption. Burglars can purge the corruptions from their foes. Really? That sounds handy. Yeah, okay, oh my. Cool. I'll put you here. Yeah. That looks good. All right. I got a deed bestowed? Oh, Wormslayer, right. Bestowed some time ago. New skirmish available? Not sure which one it is, but okay, that's fine. All right. Let's go here and talk to Emily, and then Tracy. I promise I honestly will get around to your actual question. I succeeded in doing what the hunters of the Lumiavaki have failed to do and brought me the tusk of Paksu Karva. I totally did. Yeah, I picked him out of the herd, didn't even kill any of the rest of them. So it's like strength and stealth and cunning. That's totally Grifflet right there. Strength plus cunning plus stealth plus appreciation of architecture equals Grifflet. Though it will not be alone. I know it won't be alone. You guys all keep saying that, but I'm down with that. I respect that. But I should be able to speak with him now that I have wisdom, strength, and endurance. Okay, Tracy, I promise I'm going to see your question. Let's wait till the next place we kind of gallop. I assume that Iriana is going to send me all the way over to the far distant end of Forakel, so. Okay. Oh, I don't even have to talk to Lassie again, huh? In we go. All right. I love the huge door swinging outward. It's one of the most impressive doors in the game. All right. Hey, everybody. Oh, man, this is nice in here. Yeah, huge fires. And I don't know that I would tie banners to the top of the fire like that, but it's up to you. Maybe it helps to channel the smoke up the chimney. Okay, and an impressive forge. Wow. Yeah. Nice forge you guys made. Cool. And some more moose stands. Yeah, may the moose horn watch over the vault, apparently. Okay, this is great. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna talk to Iriana so that I have strength and endurance and wisdom. And hey! Welcome, Hobbit of the South. You have shown great worth in the eyes of the Lumivaki. Well, thank you. Okay, here's how you can help me, and don't laugh. I'm not the only one to come seeking our help to find the ring. I know. There was this elf a while back, and you tried to help him, and it didn't pan out. Why is it so important? No, do not speak of it. I fear it will only bring a black wind upon us. Yeah, we don't want that fog setting in again. First came the Vanavaki, Lyrdon, and then came you, but another awaits an audience with me. Uh-oh. He makes powerful claims. Will you go treat with him? Or go with you? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, he weighs a claim. Oh, dear. I have a feeling I know who this is. So, Amarthiel sent a servant up here as well. I'm ready to meet my opposition. Smart money's on Mordrimbor, right? Would she send Mordrimbor up here?
The chieftain of Surikile
Yeah.
desires to aid the free peoples of the south in
Oh,
their
good.
hunt for Narhuil,
Yeah, that's great.
the ring of Amarthiel.
Right.
But he fears the threats of Mordrimbor.
Aha. I see. Yeah, I saw that one coming. Hey, Iriana. So this Mordrimbor guy, look, the thing is, don't listen to him, okay? Because when you listen to him, you end up going crazy. And I mean, I lose more friends that way.
May I be of help to you?
Let's gather the elders, not the Eldars. Those are different. And meet with the emissary from Angmar. Absolutely. Okay. Hey there. Those who hold the secret that's a secret. Something draws near. A storm gathers, an evil wind blows. Oh, great. Lassie, wait. Where's he going, man? Here, I'll walk with you. Where are we going, Iriana? They're all running. You and I will make a stately entrance. Boy, my legs are really short, and I outwalk you, man. Look at this. I'm pulling away. And there's Griffith's in the lead by 3 lengths. Well, 5 of his lengths. Oh. An evil wind blows. Yalmari is there, and Sini and Ameli. Wow, Sini's got that's an awesome looking axe. Wow. Super cool. An ill air indeed. Yes, he has an ill air about him. Ha. Yeah, that's a okay, the wind, air, and water are all servants of the Iron Crown of Angmar. Oh dear. Speak your peace and then be gone. Yeah, and take the snow with you. I will not have my enemies walk freely through my lands. Well, at least you do know that he's your enemy, so that's good. Oh, no, see, Mordrimbor, don't think it. I am Griffith, and I am here to oppose you. Griffith, the enemy of Angmar and the great eye who has brought me to thy lands. I brought you? If thou were to deliver me mine enemy, a great friendship could be made between us. Look, I am way too much of a package for you to handle, buddy. You don't want me delivered. Leave now and speak no more of your falsehoods. That's right, don't try to turn them against me, Mordrimbor. Good job, Iriana. You can see through this loser. You don't treat with your enemies, much less the Koira of my enemies. Ooh. You've made a foolish choice? I don't know. Hold your tongue or I will remove it. Okay, who said that? Oh, Lassie says that. Right, okay. Depart and don't return. If thou refuse, I will take it for the heads. Hey, that wasn't very nice. So you just threw all three of them back? The Lumivaki have long endured the cold. That's right, Yalmari. Oh, did you just set Yalmari on fire, Mordrimbor? That was rude. But his fortune's got a frozen lake. I will return, and when I do, I expect all to be done as I have commanded. Defy me, and thou wilt share thy fate with Grifflet. Hey, that might not be a bad thing after all. Oh, that was a good exit, though, Mordrimbor. Gotta tell you, that was pretty impressive. How can one fight the air and the waters and fires of Angmar? Okay, I see the problem here. So he comes here not with deception, but with open threats. Again, as is so often the case, and I've said this before, an entire quest or a whole, storyline will rest upon, like I can remember the one sentence in the Lord of the Rings that is sort of the inspiration or sort of the seed of the entire thing. That whole exchange comes from the seed of the reluctance that the Losoth express when Arvedui is asking for help in Appendix A when he's with them, that they fear the Witch King because they believe, the Losoth believe that that his breath controls the winds of winter and everything. So the fact that they are intimidated by the Witch King of Angmar, who is their neighbor, right? I mean, if we look at this really detailed map of this tent, which is not really what I meant to show at all. And this doesn't even really show it that clearly, but Forakel and Angmar are next to each other. So he's like their neighbor who has power over the weather, and obviously the weather is a big deal up here in the frozen north, right? So Turbine has Mordrimbor not coming in, pretending to be a friend and attempting to deceive them, but merely intimidating them. Okay, the servants of the Iron Crown stand against me. I know they do, and I stand against them. It's pretty mutual. An end must be put to the evils of Angmar, but my people will not help you as long as this shadow looms over us. There is one who may help you. Ooh, a jacket, huh? Is it warm and fuzzy? There is a Nakia, a seer, who dwells outside the village. She is powerful and does not fear the Lord of Storms. She may help you find your ring. You will find Saya at Nakikolo, northwest of Kurulairi. That is on the western edge of the ice bay. Of course it is. Over on the western edge. Just as far from here as possible. She is haughty and proud, but you may find in her an ally against Mordrimbor. Seek the wisdom of the ages. Oh, good. Okay, Ariana. Fine, I get the picture. What you really seem to be saying to me is go as far away from us as possible. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I bet I'm not the only one who, when he first received this quest, looked at this and said, it'd be faster. I'd just swim across, right? I mean, swimming across is going to be way faster than riding all the way around by a horse, right? Yeah. And as you know, that doesn't work out so well. You actually do freeze to death in the Bay of Forakel for people who have not played the game or haven't gotten up to this part yet. So that won't, in fact, work out too well. Let's Let's get a fast horse. Let's see if we can at least get to the camp here today. We might have to finish up next week. But I believe I can talk to my friend, the stable master.
From whence came you in this cold winter?
Pinty Peldon. Let's at least go over there. All right. Okay, right. All right, Tracy. I see you're being very patient. So now that I'm on a horse, I can give more attention to your question. All right. So now about the Lost Road. So Numenor goes on the offensive with advanced tech. Right. Yep. These almost sci-fi things hover in the background, but don't appear to ever make it into any of the published works. Is that right? Yes. In fact, later on, after the Numenorians, after the downfall of Numenor, again in these early texts, after the downfall of Numenor, when the survivors of Numenor end up in Middle-earth, we're told that they actually develop aircraft, because it's the Lost Road, right? Because there's the straight path, right? So after the world is made round, the straight path to Valinor, so Valinor is removed from the world, but the straight path exists, and he's much more kind of vague and metaphorical about that later on, but in these initial conceptions it's literally like the world is flat and then it becomes round, but there remains a straight road. So the straight road is like it tangentially touches Middle-earth, and this is why the Numenorians who are in Middle-earth build towers in order to look back, because they're trying to get up to the altitude, literally the physical altitude of the straight road, so they can look down the straight road and try to see Elvenhome. That's why there are towers on the west coast of Middle-earth. That's why there are towers in the Emin Barain, because the Numenorians were building towers to try to see down the straight path, right? That was from this initial conception. Again, he ditches this later on, probably, but it's much more emphasized in these first Numenorian texts. Okay, so you got the round world and you've got the straight path, and so they can see it. If they get up in their towers, they can see down the straight road, but they can't go on it anymore. So they try to go on it. So they make planes. They make like balloons. They fly. It's the only reference to flying machines in all of Tolkien's work. Christopher Tolkien points out in his commentary that this is like the only existence of flying machines that we get anywhere in Tolkien's corpus. And their goal is to get down the straight road and get back towards Elvenhome or Valinor, but it doesn't work out. So we do get manned aircraft there, Tracy. He says it would have been cool if indeed Tolkien had further developed the thought. Maybe it set the stage for works like Bradley's Darkover and Jordan's Wheel of Time. Yeah, I mean, well, on the one hand, keep in mind the stuff that we get from Numenor, the idea of like this sort of sci-fi angle of Numenor, doesn't really stay super visible. And remember, The Lost Road wasn't published until like the late 80s, early 90s. So I mean, it's late, and of course, posthumous, well after Tolkien's death. It's hard for me to imagine that these concepts that Tolkien had could really be said to be influencing anybody, because because nobody read them. I mean, it's the primary reason why nobody would be influenced by them. But even when The Lost Road, this volume itself, was published, it was published quite late and was always obscure. So I rather doubt that even then could have much influence. But think about the Numenorians and advanced technology. Are we getting towards sunset? Yes, it's dusk. Look how beautiful this is. Man, I love the scenery in Foracal. So glad the blizzard is gone. Logging out and back in was totally worth it, guys. Thank you. Oh, look at that. The sun breaking through the clouds as it's going into sunset. This is awesome. Okay, so the technological advancement of the Numenorians, I think, is still visible in a couple ways. I mean, we're told that the Numenorians were advanced, right? But like in what sense is not always perfectly clear. But there are a few moments that really sort of suggest that they are, different in some pretty concrete ways. One of the places where I think, in the later story, so here I'm thinking primarily of the Akalabeth in the Silmarillion, which is the, sort of the final version of the story of Numenor that we get. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Time to now go forward on my own and discover new stable masters. Okay, so let me make sure to make a wrong turn before I start blithely talking. So I got to come down here and take a right, don't I? Not a sharp right, or I'll end up in this fjord over here. And I, unlike Ormas, am not pining for the fjords. Okay, yep. So this is the Westward Road. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Anyway, so there are places where I think that we can see survivals, evidence that the Númenóreans really had what we would call something like advanced technology. Think about the defeat of Sauron, right? Ar-Pharazôn hears that Sauron is calling himself Lord of Men. He says, I'm not having it, right? I'm the Lord of Men, and I will brook no rival. So he gets his posse together, or rather he assembles the vastly impressive and intimidating Númenórean army, goes to Middle-earth, and we're told that when the Númenóreans landed, there's not even a fight. Like the servants of Sauron who has armies and like nations allied with him and everything, his armies just flee. They run away. They refuse to even fight the Númenóreans. Now my question is, why? Why would they do that? It doesn't even make that. I mean, on one level, it doesn't even make that much sense. Oh, hey, nice little camp there. Oh, and here comes the snow. Maybe just a little patch of snow. Maybe just a squall. Okay. Anyway, I want to see more of this guy. Why would they run away? It can't be that the Númenórean armies are so numerous that it makes everybody else run away. That just wouldn't seem to make any sense at all. Because the island of Númenor is not the hugest place in the world. I mean, surely if Sauron put all of his armies in the field and the Númenóreans put their army in the field, surely Sauron would have more people, right? I mean, he would just have a larger army by numbers. So it can't be numbers. Superior weapons. I mean, we're told that the steel bows of the Númenóreans were extremely impressive, and I can believe this. But was it that? Was that what happened? It seems like it's not that. Like, 'cause it's not like they got into a battle and then the Númenóreans were just so like they fired off a few volleys of arrows and all of the armies of Sauron ran away. I could imagine that too, but that's not what happened. They ran away. They didn't even engage them in battle. So the Númenóreans didn't even have time to deploy their, like their superior swords or superior bows. But if the Númenóreans had artillery, and their navy comes up and fires off a few volleys, that could make the armies of Sauron run away, right? That I could believe. Again, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that there's nothing in the text of that scene to suggest that the Númenóreans were using artillery there. But it's one of those things which, in retrospect, when you read these earlier stories, and you see that the Númenóreans did seem to have artillery in these earlier stories, then, like, in retrospect, it kind of makes that other story make more sense, if you see what I mean. Look at that! Wow, is that a ruin? Woohoo! That is an impressive-looking structure. It's got to be dwarvish, right? The only things made out of stone that we've seen, the only buildings made out of stone we've seen in this whole region have been dwarf buildings. And it's going to be, right? That's what's it called? Ziegelgrund. Yeah, that's going to be it. Wow. Super impressive. So is this one of their main strongholds? And why is it above ground? It's got to be dwarvish, right? Like sight unseen, you got to think. Apart from the fact that it appears to have a dwarvish name. And it's got a task board. Yeah. Okay, there are dwarves here, which also is suggestive. But yeah, no, clearly. Clearly. Wooden timbers, though, really?
What do you want?
I want swift travel, but that's probably too much to ask for. Okay. Look at the wooden beams supporting the walls. Do you think this is put up after the fact? That can't be part of the original construction. Nice fortress here, though. Is this just a fortress and there are tunnels underground? I know there's a mine around the corner. Hey, yeah, I like to rest my bow against my ear, too. Yeah, that is comfortable. Oh, I see. You're looking out, but you're holding your bow at the same time, so you're like driving the bow through your forehead. It's awkward, man. I hope someday they manage to surgically remove that bow from the side of your head. Okay, look, the sunset proceeds apace. Oh, look at that. You do have a nice view up here. Guy with the bow stuck in the side of your head. Look, it just keeps going, this fortress. Wow. Yeah, I like to think that this whole inside of this hill here is a massive tunnels. And the fortress is just like the icing on the cake. Anyway, okay. So yeah, we do learn. I mean, there are other technologies that the Numenorians clearly did have. That we even you think about Han Buri Han talking about how he thought the wild men thought that the Numenorians ate stone for food. They carve up rocks as wild men carve beast flesh, right? They clearly have superior technology to them. But sort of how far did that go and how much was lost? But it gets lost. It gets lost right away. So, so is Tolkien doing a sci-fi thing here? Well, also keep in mind, remember where these stories came from, right? This was Tolkien. Tolkien was basically writing a science fiction story when he was writing The Lost Road. Remember, this is the famous story where C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien flip a coin, right? They decide that one of them is going to write a time travel story and one of them is going to write a space travel story. And sometimes I think that people can overlook the simple and obvious fact, or the simple and obvious implication of that. That is to say, C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien sitting down decided, like, what they were doing was writing science fiction. Both of them writing science fiction. Why can't I go up this slope? Seriously. Getting speared to death now. Hey, there's the ship! I can see the ship. Can I get over here? Tell me I can get over here. No. No, I don't want to go down. I want to go up. Darn it. I want to stay on the high ground so I can see further. Took a wrong turning. I'm going to go around this ridge. Yeah, alright. Stay on the high ground. Now I'm being chased by bears and Gauradine when I really want to stop and look at the view. There it is. Boy, this place is really thick with mobs. There it is. There's the ship. The fading sunrise. And the wrecked ship right there. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. I was so excited the first time I saw the ship. Our Vejui's ship. Anyway, so yeah, so, you know, I bet if you asked a bunch of Tolkien fans, you know, did you know that Tolkien sat down to write a science fiction book, right? They'd be kind of surprised, right? That, you know, did Tolkien write science fiction? Yeah, Tolkien wrote science fiction. It was The Lost Road, right? It was a time travel story. It ended up being about the fall of Numenor, and it was, you know, set very largely in Middle-earth, though it connected Middle-earth much more explicitly to our recognizable human history than anywhere else, really. But in concept, it really was a science fiction story. So in that sense, Tracy, I do think that the advanced technology of the Numenorians is definitely relevant to sort of early science fiction. And even though, again, it's not like it influenced it, but it was, I do believe that Tolkien was very much sort of being a part of that story, you know, that whole world when he was doing this. Tolkien was a bigger science fiction fan than most Tolkien fans realize, I think. He read a lot of science fiction and was interested in it and talked about it. But of course, it also will not be lost on you, right? That it's the bad guys when they are at their worst. You know, it's they who have the advanced technology, especially the advanced military technology. Hey guys, do you have a... There he is. Stable master. Excuse me.
My Koji is your Koji.
Of course I can't get your swift travel, and you don't offer slow travel. That's pretty rude. Okay. Or mammoth travel. Ah, don't taunt me. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna end it here this week, looking down from the hill on our Vejui's wrecked ship. This is not the best angle for it. We had that over there. So just as the northern lights are about to begin in the sky, nice moon tonight, full moon in Middle-earth. We can we'll stop there. Hopefully we'll get some northern lights next time, and we will pursue the mystery as we are anticlimactically attacked by an ice worm. Hang on, I was gonna say goodbye, but now I've got to off this guy first. Okay. Now, Griplet will say, bye everybody. So next week, normal time, as I said, we will come back and we will see if we can now that we have explored pretty much all of Forkel, we'll see if we can make some progress on the Book 13 quest and figure out how to thwart Mordrimbor and his intimidation of the Losoth, how to get what information is to be gotten here about Narkuil, the Lost Ring, and we'll see if we can maybe catch up with Lyrdon again next time and tell him that the Losoth miss him terribly and they say hi. So thanks everybody for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye now.